everybody. Welcome to Jerry and Jamie 2 Up. My name is Jerry, and we are going to do another reaction video. We had a lot of response on the last one we did, so we're going to go ahead and do another one. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you have. Big Rock Moto is a great channel for motorcycle content, and Ian does a great job. And he did a little walk around and review of the BMW RT 1300. This is a bike that I've been drooling over for a long time. A good friend of mine just purchased one. Um, I love this motorcycle. So I just thought I would do a quick reaction to what Ian has to say. He did a great review. So let's go ahead and jump into that right now and get started.
Welcome to Big Rock Moto. Two favors as we start. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And whenever you're shopping for parts and gear, please use my affiliate shopping links. This is the 2026 BMW R 1300 RT, and it is an all-new bike versus the outgoing R 1250 RT. This RT is BMW's most advanced touring motorcycle ever, and make no mistake, this is the flagship. As equipped here.
So I will say I do love the triple black. I think it's just a really nice looking motorcycle, and I really do like the look of that. I think this bike looks better than the GS. In fact, I do like the look of the RT.
This motorcycle costs over $32,000.
Okay, did you guys hear that? $32,000. That's why it's not in Jerry's garage.
Today, I'm reviewing it, and I hope to answer for you the following key questions. Number one, is it worth the price tag? Number two, is it that much better than the outgoing R1250 RT? Number three, are the ergonomics, is the riding position too cramped? Next, is the automatic transmission or ASA, automatic shift assistant, the way to go for this bike? Is it worth buying over a GS or a GSA? Is it a better touring bike than a Honda Goldwing or a BMW K1600 GTL? That's a lot of questions, so let's dive into this review and find out. Pricing on the R1300 RT, it has gone up a little bit from the R1250 RT. When you're looking at the pricing, keep some things in mind. This bike has more of it.
So one thing that BMW, I always love when they say a base price. So if you look at the base price, it's $22,000. You're never going to find a base model BMW. I've never seen one. But a couple of things that I'm looking at is the triple black package is almost $7,000. So I'm hoping he tells us what that is. The comfort passenger package, I think that's probably heated seats and handrails. Okay, I could see that. The ASA transmission is only $930. That's why I'm trying to figure out what the triple black package, why it costs so much. And but we'll see what they say.
Available features and technology and options than the outgoing RT did. So in that respect, maybe it makes sense that we see a bit of a price increase here. If you option a Honda Goldwing DCT Tour with all the stuff you see here, and in fact, on the Goldwing, you can't even get a lot of this technology that you see here, but that bike will be around $30,000. If you option a K1600 GTL, it's going to be around $30,000. A GS or GSA is around $30,000. A fully loaded Harley Davidson is around $30,000. So the price maybe is not as bad as it seems.
So I love when people throw out $30,000 price tags for a motorcycle, and they say, well, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. $30,000 to ride a motorcycle. I love motorcycles. I've been riding a motorcycle a long, long time. $30,000. I don't know. Maybe if I had that kind of money and it was disposable, where I could put it on toys, then I guess maybe that would be a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if even if I had the money. Well, yeah, I would, because I really like the RT.
This bike weighs 620 pounds or 281 kilograms, fully fueled up, ready to ride. For perspective, that's quite a bit
So the weight's not too bad. I don't. I mean, 620 pounds for a touring motorcycle. That's not too
more
bad.
than a GS, but on the other hand, it is far lighter than a Honda Goldwing or BMW K1600 GTL or Harley Davidson touring bike. Fuel capacity on the bike is 6.3 gallons or 24 liters. That means that realistically you have a riding range of about 250 miles.
So that's a pretty good range. That's not too bad. You know, I know guys that ride in the GSAs. You know, they can go forever, but 250 miles to me for a range on a motorcycle is perfect. If I am going to ride tank to tank, which I very rarely do anymore, that's about the most I want to do.
Or 400 kilometers. That's definitely better than something like a GS or a Goldwing. The engine on this bike, of course, it's the Boxer engine that we've all come to know. It makes around 145 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque.
The motor has got to be one of the prime things about this motorcycle. I love the Boxer motor. Puts out plenty of power, lots of low end torque. I've got to actually ride the new RT, and the motor was amazing. It almost seemed like the motor was bigger than it actually was because of how quick it was.
This bike here, you can get the ASA or automatic shift assistant. If you
Now, I did, like I said, I rode the ASA version, and it is very, very good. Um, Almost as good as the DCT on the Honda NT 1100. It was very, very good.
get the automatic shift assistant, you're going to get this button right here that says DM or drive manual mode. You also notice that there's no clutch lever. Clutchless shifting, the bike can either shift automatically for you in the automatic modes, and that shift behavior changes depending on the riding mode, or you can manually shift it because it still has a regular foot shift lever.
So now that's one thing that's kind of cool is mine, the DCT Honda, you can shift, but it's a paddle shifter by your thumb. Once you get used to it, it's fine. I think it would be kind of cool to be able to go up and down the gears like a regular, it's just what you get used to. But I do like that fact.
You can always override the system as well, even when you're in automatic mode. Should you get the automatic? We'll talk about this during the riding portion, but I vote yes. I think that on a touring motorcycle like this, it makes absolute sense. It makes riding easier, more seamless. You can enjoy the rest of the ride more, and I do not miss a clutch. For off-road riding on a GS or other bike, I absolutely want to have a clutch for control. For touring, which this bike is meant for, and riding with a passenger, I think the ASA is a slam dunk and is totally the way to go. Suspension.
Ian is on spot here. If you're going to just ride this motorcycle for a sport touring, two up motorcycle, the ASA is amazing. And I know a lot of you purists are having heart attacks out there, but it is really, really good.
On the RT is both electronic and dynamic, so it adjusts to the terrain or the road conditions as you ride. The RT has available a new feature called DCA or Dynamic Chassis Adaptation. What that does is it changes the steering angle or the steering geometry or rake, if you've heard about rake and trail, between the different riding modes. So in the dynamic or sporty riding modes, the rear of the bike raises up, the front drops down relatively, and it makes the steering sharper and faster. When you put it in the comfort modes, the bike sits down in the back and calms down the steering.
This is one thing that I tried, and you can feel it when you go into dynamic and everything. I don't know if it's that significant, and I would think that that's part of the price hike for this bike. Um, but that's just my thoughts on
It's
it.
absolutely phenomenal, and I'll show you how this works in the riding segment. The RT is a very technologically advanced and feature-rich bike. The windshield is electronically adjustable through a very
So electronically adjustable windscreen is very, very nice. Um, Again, just another thing to raise the cost of the bike, but it is nice to have. I don't miss it. I can adjust mine by hand. But yeah, the
Very
adjustable.
wide range of adjustment. This bike is equipped with the fog lights or the auxiliary lights. As you can see, these panels here are adjustable for airflow. So in this position that you see now, you get more airflow on the legs. If you raise them up, which you can do while riding, then you get increased wind protection and less wind on your legs and lower body. It
So I like the idea of that. I would have to have ridden it like a little further and a little like it'd be nice maybe in the rain or something like that. But again, just something else that I think can go wrong. That is the benefit really. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it, but I'd have to see if I rode it longer. I'd have to get with my friends who have them and see what they think.
works really, really well, and it's a unique feature, unique to this bike. The center stand on this bike, what this bike does is that if you have the ignition on and you put the center stand down part way, the rear suspension maxes out the preload, so it makes the bike easier to lift up onto the center stand.
So again, I put the bike on the center stand. Maybe I didn't notice it. Maybe it was on. Maybe it wasn't on. I don't really think anybody really needs that. But maybe if you're shorter and you can't get leverage on the kicks on the center stand, but the way they had the center stand on the BMWs, especially on the RT, it was pretty seamless to get it up on the center stand. So again, it's a cool feature, but is it something that you really?
All RTs will come with these side cases, which are expandable and fairly spacious. My particular bike is also fitted with the top case, and this will come as part of different option packages.
I actually thought that was a cool feature because I did like the idea of being able to make the bags bigger and smaller, and it worked pretty good.
I also want to mention the seat is adjustable between two different heights. It's also heated. The passenger seat is heated, but what's also heated are these grab handles here.
Now, I will say, if you're going to ride two up in all kinds of weather, having a heated seat would be nice, but those handrails would be amazing. I know Jamie would love that.
And the backrest is also heated, so your passenger.
And having a heated backrest, even though you're wearing gear and stuff, and if you've got a jacket, but I think that's pretty cool.
Has heating here, here, and here to keep them warm. Of course, for the rider, you've got heated grips, which on BMWs get very, very warm. This top case can easily fit two adult size full face helmets, which is extremely convenient when you're traveling. The mirrors on the RT are integrated into the bodywork, as you can see, so they do not come off the handlebar. They work very, very well and give you a very nice view behind you.
The mirrors weren't very good on this. I didn't get a lot of shoulder action, and they weren't very good. That integrated thing, right? If you drop this thing, you could have some serious
The
damage.
story with the RT sitting here in the cockpit is an incredible sense of protection from the weather, from this huge fairing and this huge windshield, which goes up and up and up and puts you in a very still pocket of air. My bike is equipped with the radio. You can see the speakers. If you're into that sort of thing, blasting music out of your motorcycle, then you have that option.
So it's kind of funny. I've seen a lot of guys on on RTs with speaker. I've never heard anybody have a radio on. Maybe people do. I just, to me, I think that's a waste. If you want to listen to music, put your, have your headphones in your helmet. It's going to be a better experience, and you're not interrupting everybody that's around you. Yeah, I'm speaking to you, cruiser guy who just blasts his stereo in the middle of a crowd. I don't know why people think that's cool.
For the rest of us, I would probably choose not to get that on my bike if I were to get one of these. You have the typical BMW controls, which we've seen on the GS models and other new BMW.
So I like how minimal the controls are on here. Remember my Honda NT, 17 buttons on the control panel. I do love the Wonder Wheel and how they do that.
Out with the hamburger button, the multi-selector switch. Now, there's one important detail on the RT that the GS doesn't have, which is these favorite buttons. You get 4 buttons that are lit up at night. By the way, these controls are not lit up, and that's disappointing. These are lit up at night, and you can configure different things you want them to control as shortcuts. If only the GS had this, we wouldn't be complaining about the GS controls. I wish they would add that to more of their models. It's very, very nice to have. The TFT on this bike is large and
You can get a sunburn off of this TFT. It is huge. It is bright, easy to see. It looks amazing. It's very high quality.
comprehensive and crisp and clear. And you can do almost anything you can imagine from this TFT by using the controls here. It's intuitive, it's easy to use. I would like to see BMW adopt something like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
So this is one thing that I think you're going to see in a lot of bikes coming up. The way of having Garmin GPS and that sort of thing is going to the wayside. And I don't know why more motorcycle manufacturers haven't gone to CarPlay and Android Auto, because it on my NT 1100 it works flawlessly, and it's amazing. It does a good job
For navigation and communication, but they've chosen not to do that and pursue their own proprietary phone integration, which does not work very well.
So that just another thing, right? That's a BMW thing, making their own proprietary thing. So you got to pay for that, and then it's quirky, and it'll take kind of like the CAN bus when it first came out. Very it was weird. People finally got it to work, but I don't know why they have to do that.
The phone compartment is big enough to fit most phones and has some ventilation, some cooling, and has a USB plug as well. And that way your phone will be connected to the bike for using the BMW app or navigation or whatever you'd like
Now that would be perfect for CarPlay, right? You could just plug it in, and that's awesome.
to do. The rider seat on the 1300 RT is adjustable between 2 different positions, and you can also change the angle of the seat. In the low position with the standard seat is 32.2 inches or 817 millimeters. If you raise it up into high position, that's 33 inches or 838 millimeters. One of the reasons you might choose an RT over a GS or GSA is slightly lower seat height. I am 5'10".
So this would be one thing that I would struggle with, is being 6'2". I would like to have a taller seat height. I've ridden bikes with smaller seat heights, but after riding adventure style bikes for a while and being taller, it'd be hard to go back, I think.
478 centimeters, I have a 32-inch inseam. With the seat in the high position, I can flat foot the bike on both sides at my height. Very, very comfortable. One area of concern.
So yikes, right there is what would really concern me, is his knees are really bent, and he's 5'10". I'm 6'2". I'm afraid that riding position would get very cramped very quickly.
Concern for potential RT buyers is the legroom of the bike. And it's true that the foot pegs on this bike, if you are used to a Goldwing or a GS or a Harley or a lot of other motorcycles, the foot pegs feel high and somewhat further back. The position to the handlebars it's not completely upright. There's a tiny forward.
When I rode it, I didn't ride it long enough to really feel like my legs were that cramped. But I will say, is the reach to the handlebar was perfect for me. It worked really, really well. I wouldn't need any risers or anything like that.
Forward lean, which I think is good. It helps keep pressure off your butt on long days of riding. Go acceleration. $80 miles an hour. Boom.
The motor was incredible on this bike, and the ASA with the motor, the combination was prime time. Very, very good.
Instant, you'll be going 80 on this bike or 100. Get that out of the way. Manual mode, very, very crisp. It's like having just an awesome quick shifter when you're in manual mode. Go back to automatic mode. The shifts are a tiny bit clunky, but I still think pretty good. And just, it's a smooth riding experience with that AS.
You can feel it a little more than my Honda NT 1100 when you're shifting automatically, but it wasn't a game changer. It wasn't something I'd be concerned with.
Say, I really think this does make sense. The wind protection of the RT is just unbelievable. With this windshield all the way up, let me put it all the way down. That's all the way down. You can probably hear the wind. I get wind on my helmet. All the way up. And
every RT that I've ever ridden, the wind protection has always been fantastic. One thing I'm envious of from a lot of bikes.
And now I'm in a clear pocket of air. This is just exceptionally smooth. The DCA is set low down, so it's got a slower handling response. So
again, the DCA, I couldn't figure out that. I didn't think it was a big deal, but maybe I just didn't ride it long enough.
Cruise control, it's adaptive, so I can set it if there was traffic in front of me. Then
adaptive cruise control, whether you like it or hate it, it's here to stay. I'm not a big fan. I just wouldn't set it, I guess.
Riding on the 1300 RT.
So I will say this bike handled really, really well. The motor's fantastic. It was a lot of fun when you could lean it over and have a little fun with it.
I'm still in road mode now. Let me go to dynamic mode. When I go to dynamic mode, I can substantially feel the rear of the bike lift up and the bike changes geometry completely. Now I have sharper handling, sportier handling. Isn't that incredible that you can push a button and change how the bike handles? What incredible technology we have.
And again, I guess maybe I didn't ride it long enough. I didn't think it was as much as he's ranting about it. But again, I wonder how much that adds to the cost of the motorcycle. And if you took that off the motorcycle, would it make it more affordable? And how much does it really make that big a difference? Maybe it does. I don't know.
These days on motorcycles, it truly is an amazing time we live in. And you see handles for a touring motorcycle, the handling is a sensation. It is flickable. It feels super light.
I have to agree. I really felt that the whole time riding it, it handled very, very well. Much better. The C14, of course, was heavier, but it just was harder to maneuver and throw around. The RT feels like it's a nice weighted sport touring bike.
It's better than a GS. It is just incredible. It's incredible to ride on a twisty road. I use manual mode for shifting when I'm doing this. You can use automatic, but the manual is better because the auto.
So I use manual mode when I'm in the twisty stuff as well. It's fun. Plus the paddle shifter. I use manual mode all the time when
automatic will put you in too high. God, it's impressive.
What do I love about the R1300 RT, and what are the things that I don't like? What I love is, number one, the features and technology on this bike. They add to the riding experience. They work really well, and I really, really enjoy them, and I really think they are class leading.
I'm sure they are class leading, but with that class leading, there comes a price tag. And again, I just wonder if it's worth, and maybe it is it worth the cost?
Next up for me, the handling capability of this bike for a touring bike is exceptional. Next up for me, the overall protection from the weather. And I think that's really what helps separate this from a lot of other bikes that you might be looking at, especially adventure bikes. The weather protection is exceptional on this bike. Next up for me, as a pro, the overall performance of this bike, the engine, the power, the torque. We talked about the handling, the braking.
It is a dream. It's probably the best motorcycle I've ever ridden in terms of handling, motor, just the experience. And again, maybe part of that was all the cool stuff that they've added on there, but I just don't know. But yeah, it was very cool. I was very envious after I got off that I could never own one.
Everything together as a performance package is more than most people will ever need. And you combine that with the fact that this is incredibly luxurious and incredibly comfortable. This has got to be, it is one of the world's best motorcycles right now. What
Yeah, I would have to agree. It is one of the best.
are the things I don't love so much about the R1300 RT? It's a pretty short list. The first thing is, I already showed you the leg room, depending on your body type and your preferences and what.
Yeah, I think this would be one thing that I would still have one, but I think that's one thing that might come into play on longer days, 400, 500, 600-mile days.
You're used to, the legroom can be a bit cramped feeling over long rides. You can get a taller seat from BMW. That may help that, but it is something you should be aware of.
Yeah, that would be mandatory. I would probably have to get that out of the dealership.
But hopefully test this bike out before you make this commitment. The next downside, the cost. While I do think that the bike is actually a decently good value considering the competition and considering everything you get with this bike in terms of features and technology and equipment, when you go over north of $30,000, that's a lot of money.
So I agree to a point here. I guess I look at it from, and I'm just looking at it from my personal standpoint. Right? I just bought the NT 1100. I've put almost 10,000 miles on it. It's been a great touring bike, a fun sport touring bike, and I paid less than $15,000 for it. So is the BMW RT $15,000 better than the Honda NT? Maybe it is, but for $15,000, I can do a whole bunch of trips for the money I saved with that.
What in a different class? Engine's obviously very different with a flat six versus the Boxer.
Yeah.
Depends on your preferences, and you need to test both. Honda Goldwing. The Honda Goldwing is almost a different class of motorcycle. This is technically more of a sport touring bike.
Yeah, the RT, I've rode some of the new Goldwings too. The RT is at a different level than the Goldwing. The Goldwing's a touring motorcycle. He calls it a sport touring bike. The RT is a sport touring bike compared to the Goldwing. Even though you can get it pretty good on the Goldwing, out of the two, if I'm spending 30 grand, I'm buying a BMW.
The Goldwing is just a plain old touring bike. I wanted to say barge for a minute, but that does the Goldwing disservice. It actually handles pretty well. Is it worth the price tag? My opinion is yes. Compare the features, technology, and performance of this bike to the competition, and I think you will find that equipped similarly, this actually is worth the price tag and the pricing.
And he's probably right here when you're comparing apples to apples. But again, are those other bikes worth that kind of money too?
Actually does make sense, although you do have that sticker shock when you initially see it. This bike behind me is the most technologically advanced and highest overall performing touring motorcycle in the world right now.
Yeah, and I agree with that. There's nothing else that has more technology and more workmanship. And I mean, it's a great looking motorcycle. I agree there.
If I was in the market for a luxury road going motorcycle, I wouldn't have to think about it for more than 2 seconds. This is what I would buy. It is a phenomenal machine.
And I agree with him there. If money were no object, I would have one in my garage as well.
With very.
So we've seen the thoughts. What do you guys think? Is it worth $32,000? I do love the look of it. I'm jealous of my friends who have them because I think it's an amazing motorcycle. I still don't know if I would purchase one. Now, if a bunch of money dropped out of the sky, maybe. But it's a great motorcycle, and it's probably the best BMW has come out with in a long time, even though I know the GS is great and everything. But this RT it's changing the way I think sport touring bikes are, and I don't think there's anything out there that can touch it. But again, price tag, I'll never be able to afford it. So I'm jealous of the folks who do have them. But all right, everybody, if you did like what you see here today, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Do all that YouTube stuff. Do you like these reaction videos? Could you care less? Let me know. I'll talk to you all soon. All right, everybody, be safe, be kind. Happy motorcycling. Take care, everybody.